Hey everyone! Today, we aren't just looking at a country on a map. We're diving into a story of survival, ambition, and transformation. How did 13 tiny, struggling colonies turn into the most powerful nation on Earth? It wasn't just luck. It was a 400-year-long roller coaster. The story actually starts way back, at least 14,000 years ago, when the first people crossed the Bering Strait. Long before any Europeans arrived, this land was a vibrant home to tribes like the Apache, the Cherokee, and the Mohawk. But the world changed forever when the first English settlers arrived in the early 1600s, looking for a fresh start and a place to worship freely. Imagine stepping off the Mayflower in 1620. There was no electricity, no stores, just endless forests and a very uncertain future. Most families were farmers, and life revolved around a massive stone fireplace that was the heart of the home. By 1733, there were 13 colonies along the coast. They were doing okay until England started piling on heavy taxes. Remember the Boston Tea Party in 1773? That wasn't just about tea. It was a loud, "Enough is enough," from people who wanted a say in their own lives. On July 4, 1776, they signed the Declaration of Independence, and after a long war led by George Washington, a new nation was born. After winning their freedom, the new nation was hungry for more land. In 1803, they bought the Louisiana Territory from Napoleon for $15 million, doubling the size of the country overnight. But this expansion had a tragic side. As settlers moved west, original inhabitants were pushed out. One of the darkest chapters was the Trail of Tears in 1830, where thousands of Cherokee and Choctaw people were forced to walk hundreds of miles. Nearly a quarter of them died from cold and hunger. It's a heavy part of the story that we must never forget. By the mid-1800s, the country faced a massive identity crisis: slavery. The industrial North wanted to end it, but the agricultural South relied on it. When Abraham Lincoln was elected in 1860, 11 Southern states decided to leave, sparking the bloody Civil War in 1861. The turning point was the Battle of Gettysburg in 1863, and by 1865, the North won. Slavery was finally abolished, but the scars would take generations to heal. After the war, America became an industrial giant. The 1920s, known as the Roaring Twenties, were a time of pure energy and a new consumption society. But it was a bubble. In 1929, the market crashed, leading to the Great Depression. Things got so bad that mothers even made clothes for their children out of flour sacks. This crisis only truly ended when the world went to war again. America tried to stay out of World War II, but the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941 changed everything. The country transformed into a war machine almost overnight. By the time the war ended in 1945, the U.S. emerged as the world's undisputed superpower. The following years were defined by the Cold War standoff with the Soviet Union. But while looking at external threats, a revolution was happening at home: the Civil Rights Movement. From 1955 to 1968, brave people like Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King Jr. stood up against racial segregation. This second Reconstruction was about finally fulfilling the promise of equality made back in 1776. It changed the social fabric of the country forever. In modern times, the journey continued through the shocks of 9/11 and the historic election of Barack Obama in 2008, the first African-American president. Today, America remains a global hub of technology, culture, and influence, but it is a place still working through its long and complex history. So that's the story, from 13 tiny colonies to a global giant. It's a story of grit, big mistakes, and even bigger dreams. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.